Death can save you from me.
Stay a while and listen.
Good afternoon, my Diablo 2 brethren. We are here with a special entry into our series for the Economy Free Sorceress run. We're just getting ready to make the jump into Hell. I've been doing a little bit of extra farming of some XP, got her all the way up to 78 by farming some terror zones. Had already maxed out the throne room, so couldn't do anything else there. Just been rocking some terror zones to see if I could find any nice drops and stuff. Pretty unlucky on that front. So I decided let's just move on to Hell, because we're already at the point where Act 1 of Hell is already going to yield basically no XP because of my level, so progression-wise it should be pretty good. So let's go ahead and jump in and show you what we're going to do today. Today is more about preparation. We're not going to get into the actual grind of things just yet. So as far as gear goes, the only thing that's really changed recently is I updated my base on the lore helmet. That's likely going to be my end game helmet. I don't think I'm going to find anything better than that anytime soon. I found a nice baller pair of boots here with really solid cold res and fire res. When I ultimately get that spirit shield, the fire res is going to be obviously very important. Mixed bag of charms. Most of them are just plus life. So I'll reorganize those and reprioritize those as needed, particularly when I'm looking at resistances. So resistances are starting off at 54, 58, 75, and 59. So lightning res is great to start with, which will allow me to ultimately pull off maybe some of these charms here and focus on better ones that I actually need. As far as gear goes, I got some things that I'm going to do here. So I do have some backup stuff. I have my gloves that I'm going to put on here. So I'll put on those instead of my chances. I'll pick one of my other belts. I kept the high ones just in case I ran into some sort of a random enemy that I couldn't kill very fast. Like if they're dual immune to cold and fire, truthfully, I'd probably just skip them. And my Merc wasn't able to kill them. I was thinking maybe I put on a prevent monster heal and it'll give me time to figure things out. As far as belts, I had two other spares, cold and fire. I'm probably going to stick with the fire one because that's going to be the deficiency with spirit. I got this nice Ethereal Chaos armor. I found this one at the tail end of Nightmare. I actually did use one of my sockets for it just because it looked pretty cool. And I had a bunch of jewels. I don't have the guts for a rune word, so I got a couple of enhanced damage jewels here. 26, 38, and a 27. I had also had a increased attack speed, but I'm not going to put that in there because I don't think just that one is going to be sufficient. So I'm going to wait around until I find a better fourth jewel for that. But that's going to be for my Merc. For myself, I got this mage plate here. I'm actually going to swap out armors, and it's a little bit of a risk if you ask me, but it's got better stats. I'm going to build Lionheart for the first time, which is these three guys here, Hell, Lum, Fall. Fall was the highest rune that I found. The rest of them I mostly cubed up. I kind of have a rune problem at this point here. Ran out of chip gems, can't get rid of the Thul runes. Don't even have the rubies for the shale runes to get rid of, so I'm going to have to go back and do a little bit of farming and normal to try and find some chip gems to get this sorta back out, but I'm guessing that being that the highest that I have is an IO, which is going to turn into a Lum. Unless I find runes, queuing up isn't going to yield any rewards before I finish my run with the Sorceress. Unless I really, really, really stall out and have to farm exclusively for runes like Countess or Lower Kurast. Like I said, I've never built Lionheart before. Lionheart has 30 resistance instead of 50, but it's got some other base stats like some strength and vitality and stuff like that. So I'm willing to take the hit on the resistances, knowing that I'm going to work with charms and some other pieces of gear to shore up those loose ends. So let's drop this in here. So 25 strength, that is a bunch of points that I don't have to put into strength as far as equipping my monarch when I find it. Dexterity, don't care. 20 vitality, that's even more points, so it's a double reward there. 50 life, and all res of 30. So that's that. That puts me at still lightning is capped. My fire is capped from my gear. I'm actually sitting pretty good, so that's going to be a nice end game piece of gear for hell, if you ask me. I'll take care of the. Yeah, I'll put these 3 jewels in here. Give that to Durga or Gulzar, whatever his name is. 91% enhanced damage. So that'll be nice. If I ultimately find a better pole arm for his next insight, he should crank out quite a bit of damage. Some other random junk down here, some magic find gear that I have, unimportant. And then I'd been collecting all of these jewels through the entirety of normal and nightmare. Why do you ask? Because I am getting ready to do my first round of crafting. So I am in the market for 3 things right now. I am in the market for I believe I'm doing a caster belt. That's what the amethyst here. So I got several attempts at caster belts that I'm going to try to do. Got the runes, the gems, and the jewels for them. The far left spot, I'm going for a safety ring. I'm not holding out hope on those. Both the rings that I got, I haven't swapped these out. These are magic find ones yet, so let's take care of that first. Cold and poison is what I need at the moment. Cold 8, lightning. Cold 11. Cold 10. Yeah, so we're probably just going to go with these all-res rings for now. Keep these just in case. But ultimately, I'm looking for a belt that is going to wrap things up. So the caster belt, hopefully it's got some nice affixes on there. And if I find some better rings with maybe some higher cold res, that'll be good. So that's item number 1 that I'm looking for is caster belt, then the safety ring, and then this middle one here is going to be a blood helmet for Gulzar, so to keep him alive and get some life leech and stuff like that. So that is the plan with these. Never done any crafting before, so I don't know what to expect. I did look things up and see that these caster belts are going to have a fixed stat on them, as well as 1 to 6 bonus stats is what I'm looking for. So that's the plan right now. So take a little bit to go through these, but give it a go here. First attempt. Oh, it's not even a static FCR. I thought that would be guaranteed 10. This one here does not look like it's going to be good. Fortunately. Said, I don't really know what to expect with these crafts. I've never done it, but it seems like it's all the rage in online plays. Missed something here. Oops. Everybody's into these crafted amulets and rings and stuff, and apparently they're supposed to be super godly or something like that. Guess maybe I can't use a yellow belt. Again, inexperience. Alright, even worse, faster cast rate. And junk stats too. Not good. Let's get rid of this. Seven FCR, mana and mana. Also not very good. Nine. Replenish life. Cold resist of 12. That's plausible. Otherwise, just more mana and poison length. Good defense because it's a shark skin. I won't dismiss this one immediately, but truthfully, it's likely not going to happen. CR, 1 strength, 17 mana. That one is garbage too. Strength, life, mana, regenerate, and gold find. Not really too thrilled about that per se. And that brings us to the end of our belts. I do got to buy 2 new belts.
Hi there. Yes?
Alright. I'm gonna go to Geed instead. He's more likely to have this shit.
I can't carry anymore.
Good day.
Alright, 2 new belts. Get these last ones wrapped up here. Level 85, wow. 23 strength. Now that one actually could be nice. It's got 8 FCR, that isn't too bad. It'd work towards a breakpoint. 23 strength though is points not needed for strength. Requires one of my respecs later, but certainly the best one I've created. More strength, but not near as good. Alright. Save this one for later. Let's jump in and do some rings here. Vitality, life, cold res, and life leech. Not exactly what I was looking for. Dexterity, vitality. Nothing to write home about. Vitality, life, lightning res. Vitality, man, still nothing really that great. It's looking like, to be honest, rare items are going to be the best way to go unless I pour tons and tons of resources into crafting, which I don't think I'll have the longevity of this character to do so. I said my goal is to play through and beat things, not to sit around and make things better. All res of 9 is nice. It's got vitality and life. I'll keep this one, but I don't think it's better than when I got these here, both all res 10s and 11, and the extra little bit of vitality isn't going to help too much. Keep it just in case I have to min-max. Alright, the last thing I needed some helmets. Of course I gotta gamble those too.
I am overburdened.
Alright, I bought a bunch of helmets from my blood helmet crafts. See if fortune favors us here. I don't know if there's any limits or only certain modifiers that can be put on these crafted items, or if really the only good stuff shows up at the very end, like level 90s or so. If certain affixes can only fall at some point. So the blood ring, I think, has the life, leech, and deadly strike is what I want. 20 life, cold resist. Certainly not bad. Like I said, I don't really know what to expect with these. Can't use that. Not seeing anything I like so far. Alright, looks like helmets were kind of a dud. I didn't get anything with max life leech, which is kind of what I wanted. Deadly Strike would be great and all, but all things considered, just really didn't hit as far as any of these things went here. So I'll have to roll with what I got. The only thing left I'll have to do is I'm getting ready to respec and use my first respec from normal difficulty. Get some of my skill points aligned back properly. So I have points in warmth that I'm going to take out. I don't want those anymore. So I'll reallocate those. And then ultimately just rebalancing my strength requirements. That's the only place I put points was strength and vitality. So I'll take the points out of strength enough to accommodate for Spirit Monarch, assuming all of the best gear that I have now is going to be essentially endgame gear with the resistances and stuff like that. And then I'll be able to pour everything else into vitality, and hopefully we'll go through and beat hell without too much trouble. That's all I got for this episode here. Stay tuned, and we're going to go ahead and rock it out in hell and see how those things go. So take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.